Hello and welcome to my next garden tour. Some good progress with my window boxes. The petunias are opening, but they're still quite short in relation to the snapdragon. So I hope the snapdragons either quit getting so tall or the petunias will start to actually grow. The colors are looking pretty good so far. My double pink petunia. No sign yet of the double blue petunias. This one continues to give me joy. All right, and here's the little pansies that are 4 years old. They're like zombie pansies, they never die. Some more. All right, so, okay. Sweet peas, they are growing. Still no blooms yet. So these are Walla Walla onions that I planted, and I thought that nothing could kill them, but there were quite a few that actually died, which really makes me suspicious about this bed. I've been suspicious about it for a long time. I actually think the original owner poisoned it to avoid weeding it. So we'll see if the rest of them survive. I hope so. I've got some sunflowers in the back, and then this is a yellow zucchini. And that's a baby tiger zucchini, and then there's one Brussels sprout plant in the back. We'll see how that one does. So first rose, this is my second rose. It's doing really good, lots of growth. The other two are pretty far behind this guy. All right, so looking up what I've done in the gap here, I call this the gap. This is alyssum. More alyssum, and these guys are sweet peas. I'm gonna have the idea to plant some sweet peas and just see how they look coming down over the rock wall. So I planted 3 different varieties, and then a whole bunch of fuchsia, which I think is gonna do really well, but time will tell. Greenhouse. I planted today. All right. Whew, it's hot in here. So you're looking at the cucumber. I'm aiming to do 12 of them down here, which I know sounds crazy, but I'm going to sort of separate them and trellis them up the wall. And like the trellis is really, that's the space they have, right? Everything down there is just for roots. So I think it's going to work, but we'll find out. I also planted some beets to the front of that. They're this variety that grows long and narrow. So I think there's room for that there, but maybe not. If not, it's okay. There were just a few. So these are all the tomatoes and a pot of basil there. Everything on the ledge is some kind of flower. And check out my strawberries. They are so happy. They've all got blooms on them. The temperature in here, nearly 40 degrees. Whew. All right, these are lobelia, seeded lobelia. They're still doing good, and then a few other types of flowers that I haven't figured out what to do with. I only got one pepper. That's a weed in the corner. Far corner is a pepper. Here's a few more cucumber that I saved room for down below. And then that's the remainder of the tomato that didn't fit. I might give those to Tammy. And then this is the rock cress, which I don't even know what I'm going to do with anymore. It really didn't work for the wall. The 3 that I bought at the greenhouse just died, so now I have this like tray of seeded rock cress. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. That's a couple Brussels sprouts and another baby tiger squash, and that's a Chinese pink celery, and then some more beets. I don't know where I'm going to put those. So the plan is I'm going to put an eggplant there, and probably a pepper in a pot there, and a couple of other pots there. I'm not going to be able to move in here, but that's okay. It's part of the fun. So these are potatoes. I was planning on covering this bed with landscape fabric just to keep like weeds, but I hadn't bargained for the fact that potatoes would come back. And it's a great show of foliage, but I really did not get very many potatoes out of it. So maybe this year will be the year for potatoes. Maybe they just take 2 years. I don't know. I don't think it gets enough sun, but I'm going to let them grow. All right. Well, there's the neighbor's hydrangea. Still stunning, but not yet in bloom. This is my garlic. And clematis, doing really good. Carrots, very little showing from the carrots. I actually reseeded them today. I've given up. I don't know what happened. All right, so some of you thought that I wasn't happy with the growth of the clematis last time. That's not actually what I meant. I find that the Ernest Markham variety, which is this solid pink one right here, this guy is Ernest Markham. They're really vigorous, like they're just going nuts. I'm actually really impressed with those. By contrast, the Nellie Moser is growing slower, but I noticed that their stems are thicker. As you can see, this one's just about to come into bloom probably tomorrow. It's one of my earliest ones, but just check out the root structure of them. Like the Nellie Mosers are like it's all action is happening underground, whereas I feel like the Ernest Markhams are kind of overextending themselves. Like this one here, he was all ready to bloom, and they're not even due to bloom until July. So the fact that they've already got all of these buds is really exciting to me, but at the same time I feel like they should be working more on their roots. So I don't know, I'm sure this one will come back next year. I think it just got a little ahead of itself. So this big ugly thing is kale. I decided that I would try to collect seeds from kale this year. I've never done that before. I've never collected seeds at all, but I saw on a video that it's actually really simple. They are in the pods there. You just have to wait for them to go brown. So I cannot wait because I really want to dig this thing up. So lettuce. This is the stuff that I direct seeded, and then this stuff here is stuff that I started in the greenhouse and planted out. So I'm really getting frustrated with the slow growth rate of all of it. The stuff that I started in the greenhouse has not moved, and then the stuff that I direct seeded is showing, but it's just really slow. It's only May, so maybe I just need to be patient. These guys here as Brussels sprouts. I got those at a nursery. So the reason it's all dug up like this is because I'm fighting horsetail. A few people helpfully suggested that I should get some mulch, which sounds like a wonderful idea, but unfortunately I'm fighting this root, or this weed, that has really deep roots, and you can't get it out just by pulling it from the surface. You have to really dig, so I'll show you what I mean. I just think that mulch is going to get in my way. So here, that's horsetail. Here we go. Right. There. You see how long that root is? So, you know, I don't want to put mulch down because it's just going to keep me from seeing and responding to the fact that there's horsetail still in my garden. It's not an easy weed to win against, but I'm not giving up. This bucket over here is full of horsetail. Seriously, that's like a week and a half. It's insane. Okay, this is the spinach that you still cannot see. The slugs got most of it, the first batch, so I reseeded it today and put some slug pubs out. The plants in the middle there are kale. I got those at the nursery. They're doing really good. And over there is a big borage plant. So here's some squash that I did in the greenhouse. Just getting ready to plant that. And some of that's alyssum. Some of it's weeds. These are turnips, Japanese market style turnips. And here's my peas and beans. All right, I'm doing really good. First peas are snow peas. In the middle are snap peas, and then on the far end are Oregon freezer peas, which are like great germination rate. I'm really happy with those so far. These are green beans at the front, and those are purple beans towards the end. Let's see, some radish, lots of borage. It borders on a weed. It really attracts the bees though, that's why I let it grow. They'll go crazy for it. Even the hummingbirds flock to borage, so as ugly as it is, it's worth keeping, I think. So this is supposed to be bok choy. I started some in the greenhouse and it put it out and it immediately bolted. So I don't know if it just doesn't like to start in the greenhouse or if it had something to do with that really hot weekend that we had. But anyway, it's not happy. I reseeded some of this today too. I think the slugs got the stuff that I direct seeded. Over here, again, slow progress. This is the Swishard. It's really, really slow, so I should probably thin it out. And again, I seem to have a lot of bugs in this end of the garden. The rest of the garden isn't so bad. But I'm beginning to suspect it's this tree, which is clearly diseased. I'm not sure what to do with that because the hummingbirds rely on it. Oh, look at this. I got mushrooms. Mushrooms in the garden. It's never happened before. I'd really love to know what kind of mushrooms these are. There's some more there. Over here is my trench. I swore that I would start a trench and dig out all the weeds, including all of their roots. Guess what? It's really hard work. You can see the tree roots over there. This tree is probably really not happy with me at the moment. I think I'm going down about 2 feet, and honestly, I'm not really finding anything below 1 foot. So I don't think I'm going to go that deep, because frankly, I might run out of energy. It's going to be a really big job, but I'm convinced it's going to be worth it because I'll get out the entire existing root structure of the horsetail. And even worse is the bindweed, which is mostly over on the other side. So that's it.